So this video is 5 things I'm doing to prepare for the hour record. Well, there's more than 5 things, but these are 5 of the big ones that I'm doing. And so we'll start with the elephant in the room, altitude. Obviously you know that my record attempt was scheduled to be in Manchester last year. Manchester's having a roof replaced, which is problematic. So we're going to Mexico in Aguas Calientes, which is at 1850 meters above sea level. Coincidentally, it's about 100 meters lower than where Chanel and I live during the season. So it's quite convenient so what I'm trying to say is an aspect of preparing for this hour record, and possibly the overriding aspect, is making sure I am fully acclimatized to altitude, but still strong. And that's quite a tough balance to be had, and it should all come together on the day if we've planned it correctly. We've had a big block of sea level racing recently, and obviously I've de-acclimatized to altitude, but then we've gone back up, with the exception of nationals, to re-acclimatize, but take advantage of the strength that I would have accumulated during the sea level block as well. So yeah, like I said, that all should come together on our record day. The next one is food and nutrition. If you've been following this channel, you'll notice that one of the things I've worked on in the last year or two and improved, largely to the thanks of Team GB and the nutritionists at Israel Startup Nation, is losing a bit of weight. Now, a lot of you are going to be there thinking, but your hour record is flat. And yes it is, but for this hour record, I am approximately 4 kilos lighter than I was for the last one. And with that comes a little bit of reduction in size. I wasn't fat per se, but I was not lean I was not lean in the last hour record. And the reason for that, I think, was kind of a knowing that actually it wasn't super crucial to be light. And when I don't have to be light, I'm very good at not being light. And then also making sure I was well fueled. And back then, when Movistar were not super helpful from the nutrition side of things, just making sure I was well fueled was a case of eating a lot, and possibly too much at times. But I also put on a lot of muscle. We did a hell of a lot of track, which is something I'll get to in a minute. Possibly too much track in the lead up to the hour record. And the reason it was too much for a couple of different things, but what I did was accumulate a lot of muscle on my back, especially on my right side, due to the constant turning left. You don't turn right at all, you only turn left. Yeah, I will be a good 3 or 4 kilos lighter for this hour record attempt than I was for the last one. And I think just better fueled and better prepared, taking into account nitrate loading, beta-alanine loading, sodium bicarb for the day, utilization of caffeine, all these little things where science has moved on, and we know more, and we're now in a better place to sort of utilize that and make sure that I'm firing all cylinders on the day. The next thing that we're doing in the positioning of the hour record, similarly to last year, right slap bang at the end of the season, just about when every other pro cyclist is out on the beers, and I'm still grafting away for my sins, but for something that we've been wanting to do for a long time, pretty much every single year since 2016, and motivation is still very high because of why we're doing it. And a large reason for that is Pfizer's involvement in this hour record attempt and the charity aspect of this, because this hour record attempt isn't just to break the hour record, it is to, possibly more importantly, bring light to what haemophiliacs can do now. And Pfizer's work in the rare disease and haemophilia sectors is integral to that. So thank you to them for being a sponsor of the hour record. But the tail end of the season, so like I said before, just utilizing the last few races, stage races, they're a massive block of unstructured hard work, especially the Tour of Britain. Actually, the Tour of Britain is one of the hardest weeks of the year, in a different kind of way, where you're on the pedals, the chain's tight just all the time. I know the boys that said they did the Tour de France, Dan and Woodsy and Andre, said they had a higher TSS week, and TSS is like your cumulative stress score, like just how hard it was. Higher TSS for the week of the Tour of Britain than they did for the first week of the Tour de France, which is unsurprising. I mean, the first week of the Tour de France is just about trying to stay with both wheels down. If you do that, you're in a good frame to probably win it. So that's why we're at the tail end of the season. Also from organisation, we wanted as long as possible to organise this. We were actually scheduled for October the 31st. The UCI asked if we could just push it to November the 3rd, which the only person unhappy about that is my sister, because it's her 30th birthday.
Stealing her thunder.
Stealing my sister's thunder. And the last thing I'm going to touch upon is a much more relaxed approach. And, well, as we're getting near, I'm getting substantially more nervous because we're in, but specifically because we're in the flame of reacclimatizing. I'm not seeing some great numbers in training at the moment. Like, I'm seeing good enough numbers, but not as good as I would be hoping. But you know, in the words of Froome, you just got to trust the process and know that we'll be there, like in the right place come race day. So trying to stay relaxed, because one of my coaches, Mike Hutchinson, has done a huge amount of research into what's called the vagus nerve, which is pretty crucial and is something that can be very impacted by stress. So I've had to take, as not even just a leap backwards from the organisation and the planning around this attempt, because it is enormously stressful, and just try and focus on being in like a good place mentally and a good place physically, and making sure that come the 3rd of November I can do my part of this record attempt, which is riding as quickly as I can around a velodrome for an hour. So those are my 5 things. Thank you for watching, and thanks again to Pfizer for sponsoring the hour record.